Good evening, everyone. My name is Nikhil Sharan. I've enrolled in the fellowship program for data science in Alma Better. So this is my project submission for module 1, and I'll be explaining 5 questions out of the 30 questions which were provided in module 1. So the first question is in the topic statements, indentation, and conditionals, which is mostly if, else, and elif in Python. And the question says, imagine that we are a food inspector who is responsible for inspecting the lead content of a packaged food material at a factory. If the content exceeds 5%, you should print the message, this batch cannot be approved. So as the question says that uh, let's consider ourselves as a food inspector, which is a real-time scenario, and we have to inspect the lead content in a food. If the lead content is more than 5%, we should print the message, this batch cannot be approved, else that batch can go for the next process. So there's a simple question on if and else condition. So we'll take the lead content from the user. For example, float, we'll be taking the input function and putting float as a float as a data type, so that any number, any integer, or any kind of decimal value, percentage values can be put in to as the lead content. And then we will have to check whether the lead content is more than 5% or not. So coming back to the Python program, the first statement we are is here. The first statement is we have to declare the or we have to take the input as a lead content. So for that we will use the function input, and we'll give the proper message while taking the input from the user. The message which I have given here is, please enter the lead content of the packaged food material in percentage. Now I'm converting this complete input into float, because as we all know, the input function gives us a string. And since this is we are working on operators and we are working on percentage and mathematical digits, we will be needing these strings to be converted into either integer or a float value. The reason we are giving this as a float value is because percentages are calculated divided by 100, and it is more convenient that if we give the percentage value in a float manner, so that any decimal value will be automatically stored as in the lead content. Now, as per the question, we have to check whether the lead content is exceeding 5% or not, and we have to take a decision based on that. So for that, in Python, we have syntax of if, elif, and else. Since here there are only 2 conditions, we are using if and else blocks, or rather called suites in Python. So the first block of the program, or first suite of the program, says if lead content is less than 5, as per the problem or as per the question, this lead content, if it is more than 5%, which user has entered, should not go or should not be approved. So we will be checking this condition, and if this condition satisfies, we will print this batch cannot be approved. Else, we will print that this batch can be approved. So now if I'll just run this program. So it is asking me to enter the lead content of the packaged food material in percentage. So for example, the lead content is 4.99%. If I enter, so this satisfies the condition of this, that if the lead content is less than 5, so this batch can be approved. But for example, if the lead content is 5.1 percentage, so this doesn't satisfy this condition. I mean, it says that if the lead content is more than 5, this batch cannot be approved. So the lead content which the user has input given as an input is 5.1 percentage. Hence, this batch will not be approved for the next process. So this is the first program for the statements and if else block. Now, coming to the second question, it says that you are a bouncer at a nightclub and need to check if someone is old enough to enter. The legal age for entry is 18 years. If the person is less than 18 years, print sorry, you cannot enter. So, as the program says, again, there is a conditional statement here that anyone who is above 18 can enter the nightclub. Otherwise, they are given the prompt that sorry, you cannot enter the nightclub. So again, as the question says, we will be using if and else suite block or blocks in Python, and we will the first thing we will check is what is the age of the person who is trying to enter the nightclub. For that, we will take an input of the age. But since as discussed, the input is a is a function which returns string. So we will have to convert that string into int because the age is not a string value. It should always be an integer value. And for the ease of complexity, we are taking it as int, not as a float or some other data types in numerical data types. So we are converting that we are converting the input, which is a string, into the int, which is stored in the age variable. Ideally, the age, how Python works is everything in Python is an object, as discussed in the classes. So every time a input is given or a number is stored, it works like an object is created, and this variable name is like a tag, or it's a reference which points the object. So whenever age will be given, the first thing is that since it is given in the input block, it is converted into the int, and then this int is put into the object reference in the memory uh, by the Python interpreter, and a age variable or a literal is created and is tagged to that or is referencing to that object. In Python, variable or data types doesn't work as compared to other programming languages where a box is created and it is named as age, and whatever the age is given by the user is stored in that. Since Python is a multi-paradigm language, it is functional and object oriented as well. So everything which is created in Python is an object oriented object is treated as an object by the Python interpreter. So coming back to this question, the age is pointing to the input which is given by the user, which is also converted into the int or integer data type. Now, as per the question's requirement, we have to find the whether the person is eligible to enter the nightclub or not. That is the whole agenda of the or requirement of this particular question. So we will use again if and else block. So if the age is less than 18, as per the requirement, the person should be getting a prompt that sorry, you cannot enter. So we are checking the age, and we are giving the prompt or print statement saying that sorry, you cannot enter if the age is less than 18. Whereas if it is more than 18, you are welcome in the nightclub. So if I run this program and if I give the age as 21, so it says that welcome. But if any person who is having an age of 14, so there's the prompt or print statement which throws the output as sorry, you cannot enter. So our program perfectly works for this requirement. Coming to the third question, which says we are a fitness instructor who needs to evaluate if a client has reached their weight loss goal. So the target weight loss goal is 10 pounds. So if the client has lost at least 10 pounds, you should print the message, congratulations, you have reached your weight loss. However, if the client has lost less than 10 pounds, you should print, sorry, you have not reached your weight loss goal yet. Keep up the good work. So again, if by reading the questions, we can understand that, okay, we have to convert this whole scenario into a Python program where we have to again check uh, some conditions. For checking those conditions, we need if, elif, and else block. For that, we have been given the conditions. For example, here in this problem, the target weight loss goal is 10 pounds. So if the client has lost at least 10 pounds, you should print the message, congratulations. But if he hasn't lost less than 10 pounds, if the client has lost less than 10 pounds, not more than 10 pounds, then a sorry message should be provided to the client. So coming back to the program, again, we will be taking the uh, weight of the weight loss in pounds of the client as an input from the user. So in every programming set, we have a designer and a user. A designer is the one who checks all the designs and requirements of the program and then writes the code or designs the code. And the user, who is usually uh, is the one who uses the code which is written by the designer. So from the designer point of view, the designer is saving the weight loss into a variable client weight loss, taking the input from the user. The input message is clearly showing that please enter the client's weight loss pounds. And we are converting the input as a float, because the weight can be a decimal value also. We and the weight loss can be given in a decimal value, not necessarily an integer. So we are converting that into a float, because someone might lose a weight of say 10.5 pounds or 5.6 pounds. So converting that input, which is again, as we discussed earlier, the input function which gives us a string, is now again converted to a float. So now this client weight loss is having the value of whatever the weight loss is given by the user. And as per the question, we have to check if the client weight loss is less than greater than equal to 10 or not. If it is greater than equal to 10, as per the question, as per the requirement, if the client has lost at least 10 pounds, at least 10 pounds means it should be minimum 10 pounds or more. So the weight loss should be more than or equal to 10, not less than 10. At least here means that. So we have to print the message that congratulations, you have reached your weight loss goal. If he has lost a weight in pounds less than 10, so we have to print the message that sorry, you have not reached your weight loss goal yet. Keep up the good work. So if I run this program and if I enter that if the uh, user or client has lost a weight of 13 pounds, so he has achieved his target of 10 pounds and he has lost his weight more than 10 pounds. So obviously he should be getting a prompt that congratulations, you have reached your weight loss goal. But if someone who has lost his weight about 7.8 pounds, then that person hasn't reached the target of 10 pounds. And then we should be prompting the message that, sorry, you have not reached your weight loss goal yet. Keep up the good work. So this fulfills a requirement of the question. Now, coming to the next question, we have the question or the requirement says that there is a gardener and he needs to check if a plant needs watering or not. So again, we as per the requirement from the very first line, it is very much relevant or very much convincing that we have to use a if or else statement, because there's a condition here, and for every conditions we have conditional blocks which are if else statements in Python. So again, we have to move on to the conditions, what conditions are actually checked or is asked in this requirement. So if the soil moisture level is below 40%, print water the plant. Otherwise, print the plant doesn't need watering. So again, we have to take the input we have taken as a percentage here. So we are taking the input and from the user, what is the moisture level, and we are converting it into integer value because we have to check this integer value. So we are taking this integer value and storing it or creating this object by taking the input from the user and converting it into integer. Since we have to check with an integer value, so we are checking converting this input into the integer, and then we are uh, declaring the variable which is pointing or which is referencing to the object which is created as a moisture level. Now, again, as the requirement says, we have to check whether the moisture level is lower than 40% or not. So if the percentage is less than 40, the plants need to be watered upon. So if the moisture level is less than 40, we have to print water the plant. Else, the uh, plant doesn't need watering. It has a sufficient number of moisture level in it. So the print message should be the plant doesn't need watering. So again, if we check the program, if the moisture level percentage is 45, so the plant doesn't need watering. But for example, if the moisture level is 39 percentage, so water needs the plant because it is less than 40. So this fulfills the condition or the requirements of this program. Now, we have a question on creating a shipping cost calculator. So the question or the problem statement says that we need to create a program that calculates the cost of shipping a package based on its weight and destination. So the two thing which is relevant here is the weight and the destination. So domestic shipping within the country, uh, the price is given as packages weighing up to 1 kg cost rupees 50. So each additional kg cost rupees 10 extra. And the international shipping to other countries where packages weighing up to 1 kg cost rupees 500, each additional kg cost 100 rupees extra. So, as per the requirement, here we can see that the two major factors on which we have to check the conditions are weight and destination. So, destination is nothing but given as domestic or international shipment. Now, in domestic, the fixed price up to 1 kg is 50 rupees, and every additional kg is costing rupees 10 extra. So, for example, if there is 3 kg, the first kg will be costing 50, and the next 2 kgs will cost 20 rupees extra. So, 50 plus 20, that will be 70 for domestic. But in international, the rates are higher as per the requirement. It says 1 kg cost 500 and additional kgs cost 100 rupees extra per kg. So if we are sending it to international, then 1 kg will be 500. And for example, if we have the same package of 3 kgs, now another 2 kgs will take 200, 100 plus 100 on each kgs. So the price will become 700. And that is what the program is asking, to calculate the cost of shipping a package based on its weight and destination. So coming back to the Python block or the program which we have written. So the weights can be taken as an input and destination can be taken as an input because these two will be given or provided by the user. As the user will be providing the weight and the destination, we'll be checking the conditions, and based on the conditions we will calculate the cost of the shipment. Now, for example, coming back to the program which we have written, it is input. We are taking the input as expected. We are taking the input from the user, and we have given the prompt that the input should be in kgs as per the requirement of the problem. Now, this input is converted into a float. And why so? Because the weights can be put it into a float data type. So some, for example, if the weight is 4.5 or 5.6 kgs, so we have taken that float as a input. Now, the destination is also one of the conditions or the factors on which we have to check the conditions. So the conditions are enter destination, which is domestic or international, and we'll be taking this as a string input only because this is a string which we have to take. So we are not converting this string data type into any other data types. So now the weight will be taking the weights given by the user, and destination will be taking the destination domestic or international by the user. Coming back to the problem, we have to check whether it is going to be shipped in domestic or international. So the first if, so here we have multiple conditions and we have conditions under the conditions also. So we can see that we have three if, elif and else blocks, and we also have a if inside the if. So this is called the nested if concept. So in this condition, what we are checking whether the package is to be sent to domestic or international. See, as the prompt here says domestic or international, which is in which the domestic is capital D and international is capital E, and we don't know what the user will enter, whether they will enter small d domestic or everything in capital international. So for that only, the first condition, we are checking whether the destination dot lower built-in function, and we are checking it with domestic. In this scenario, what we are doing, whatever destination value it is stored in destination, we are converting that value into the lower case. So in that scenario, whatever domestic or international case-wise input which user might have given is irrelevant because we are converting everything to lower, and then we are checking it with the lowercase domestic value. We are doing this because if the, for example, if the user enters capital D domestic and we check here with small domestic, or the user enters everything in caps, but we have entered only capital D and domestic and we are checking. So we have to either check with every conditions possible, or the best practice is to convert them into a standard lower or uppercase, choose any one of them, and then check with that. So the content will be the same. Domestic will remain domestic. Only the case will be changed. So as we know, Python is a case sensitive language, and strings work on case sensitive comparison. So that is the reason we are checking, we are converting everything into the lower case type, case, and then we are checking. And lower is a built-in function which Python provides. There are a bunch of built-in functions for strings, lists, dictionaries, and sets and tuples. Lower off is one of the built-in functions which we are using, and this built-in functions don't require any import or any modules to be taken from, so we can use them without importing any modules. That is the reason they are called built-in functions. They are already built in and can be used across the platform without any import statement. Coming back to the problem, if the destination value is domestic and the weight is less than 1 kg, the cost should be 50. If the weight is less than 1, then the cost should be 50. Else the cost should be, if the weight is more than 1 as per the requirement, the cost should be 50 for 1 kg, and then whatever the weight is minus 1, because 1 kg, apart from 1 kg we have to multiply it with 10. For example, if the weight is 3 kg, now the first cost will be, first it will come here, and if we are sending it to domestic, it will check, okay, domestic is there. Now weight is more than 1 kg, weight is now 3 kgs. So it will not go to this if statement, it will come to the else statement and check. It will put the cost value will be 50 plus 3 minus 1, 2, because any weight apart from 1 kg should be calculated with or it should be into 10. So 3 minus 1, which is 2 into 10, which is 20. So now the cost becomes 50 plus 20, 70. Or if the now same condition we have to check with the international also. If the package is to be sent to international and weight is less than 1, the cost should be 500. If the weight is more than 1 kg, the cost again should be 500 for that 1 kg plus 100 per kg extra. So whatever the weight is, we are subtracting 1 from it, because we one already we have calculated here, and then we are multiplying it with the 100, which is the cost factor here. Now, if the user has not entered domestic or international and it has entered anything, the user might have entered anything else which is not a domestic or international as per the requirement. So we should always throw an error, and this else block is doing the same, that okay, you have entered an invalid destination and there is no cost. After completing this entire if else suite or block, now we it is the time to show the cost of the shipment of the packages. So if cost is not none, that means if cost is not a null value, it has some value in it. It is not none. For example, if any invalid destination is given, the cost will be none. So if cost will be none, it will not print anything. But if the cost is not none, it is having an integer value, then we will print the shipment cost as cost. So for example, if I put 3 kgs of weight of my this one, and as you can see, I'm putting domestic as B capital. But again, again, even if I put everything in caps also, it will be compared with this, because we are converting the string into the lower case. So I put the domestic charge, and yes, it is coming 70. For example, if I have the same package of 3 kg and I have to print it to, I have to send it to international destination. Now you can see the shipping cost is 700. So yes, I have explained 5 or 6 questions from this project. Uh, Thank you, everyone.